You see these massive net worth numbers for celebrities and they just seem unreal. But the real story isn't the number itself, it's how they actually got it. And in this explainer, we're going to show you that it's probably not what you think. Come on, we've all done it, right? You're watching a movie, you whip out your phone, and you Google the star's name plus net worth. But have you ever really stopped and asked yourself, where does that number even come from? And what does it actually mean? So let's take George Clooney. A quick search pops up this absolutely staggering number, $500 million. It's a crazy amount of money. And right away, you're probably wondering, how in the world does an actor make that much just for movies? Well, here's our first clue. The truth is, a lot of those numbers, they're just educated guesses. As this person on Reddit put it pretty bluntly, those websites don't have to be right to get clicks. So that $500 million figure is our starting point, but it is definitely not the whole story. Okay, so let's start digging. The most obvious place to look for all that money is their salary, right? Those huge multi-million-dollar paychecks for the big blockbuster movies. Let's see if the math adds up. Yeah, this is what pretty much everyone assumes. 20 million for this, another 20 for that. You'd think that's got to be it. But as we're about to see, even for the biggest stars in the world, a Hollywood salary has a ceiling. And look, these are massive paydays. 20 million bucks for a single film is just incredible. But even when you look at his biggest hits spanning decades, you can kind of start to see the problem. Even with these huge numbers, getting to $500 million just seems out of reach. So after you tally up all his known acting salaries over his entire career, you land right about here, just over $90 million. And remember, that's the number before taxes, agents, managers, and all the other people who get a cut. And this right here, this is the central mystery. We're looking at a $400 million gap. His main job, the thing he's famous for, accounts for less than a quarter of his supposed wealth. So where did the rest come from? This is where the story gets really interesting. So, how do they close that gap? The answer isn't acting, it's entrepreneurship. Today's biggest stars are founders, and they usually follow one of two main playbooks for building an empire using their fame. And you can see these two strategies perfectly with two of the biggest stars out there, George Clooney and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Clooney went for what we'll call the strategic exit, one single massive home run. The Rock, on the other hand, is building the diversified empire, a whole portfolio of different brands, all at the same time. Let's look at Clooney's strategy first. Now, he didn't just endorse a product for a paycheck. No, he co-founded it, he helped build its identity, and then he engineered a huge payday by selling the whole thing. And here it is, the answer to our $400 million question. In 2017, Clooney and his business partners sold their tequila company, Casamigos, for a cool $1 billion. That single deal, not his entire movie career, is where the vast majority of his wealth comes from. Okay, now let's switch gears and look at Dwayne Johnson's approach, which is all about building an empire for the long haul. He's not looking for one big cash out. He's creating this interconnected web of brands where he is the central asset. And the scale is just mind-blowing. His Teremana Tequila, which is a direct competitor to Casamigos, is already valued at an estimated $3.5 billion. And unlike Clooney, he's not selling. He's just getting started. And just look at this portfolio. You've got tequila, energy drinks, athletic gear, a production company that makes his own movies, and even a professional football league. He's not just an actor in the movie anymore. In a lot of ways, he is the entire supply chain. So this brings up a really important question. Building $1 billion brand is already incredibly complex. So how do you run a whole empire with all these different parts, while also being one of the most famous people on the planet? It's a huge logistical puzzle, right? This is way beyond just having a good agent. We're talking about high-level corporate strategy, finance, operations, the whole shebang. So who is running the show behind the scenes? Well, the answer is this specialized structure called a celebrity family office. You can think of it like the private headquarters for Brand Clooney or Brand Johnson. It's an entire team of experts whose only job is to manage the incredibly complex financial world of a celebrity who is also a CEO. And their job is incredibly sophisticated. It goes way beyond just managing stocks. They're helping launch new companies, they're creating complex tax strategies, they're getting the financing for new ventures. This is the corporate engine room that allows the star to actually function as a CEO. So let's bring this all home. What we've really been looking at is a fundamental shift in the business of being famous. The old rules, they just don't apply anymore. And here's the most important point. For the modern A-lister, their main job isn't just acting or singing anymore. It's being the founder and the face of a global company. And their performance on screen, that's just the best marketing money can buy for their real businesses. So what's the big takeaway from all this? First, those net worth numbers you see online are fun, but they're often just a shot in the dark. Second, you now know that you can't get to a billion-dollar fortune on acting salaries alone. The real massive wealth is in brand ownership. And finally, none of this happens without that sophisticated corporate machine, the family office, running the empire behind the curtain. So I'll leave you with this thought. The next time you see a celebrity in a movie or endorsing a product, I want you to reframe the question. Don't just ask what they're selling. Ask yourself, what business are they really in? I think the answer will change how you see fame forever.